Yeah, there's no bias. There's no bias on what team I like. There's no bias on what team I think is going to win every single time. There's no bias. There's absolutely no bias. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Tier List Tuesdays, where we list facts, not opinions. And today is a special one. We are doing our preseason predictions for all 30 MLB teams for the 2025 season in a tier list form, of course. We're going to do this one a little bit differently as we do our other tier list. This isn't really a video game centric tier list. This is more so my positionings of these teams in a tier list prior to the new season that's going to start this Thursday, which I'm really hype about. Most of y'all know I'm a diehard Mets fan, and this is a really good season, not only for the Mets, just for baseball in general. I'm very excited to see what happens, and then of course see the Dodgers win it all in the end. And if you guys disagree, or if you guys have any opinion on your team and don't like where it's ranked, leave it in the comments below. Our ranks include World Series, so teams that are basically just as good to make it to the World Series this year. Pretty fucking nice. So they could still make it to the World Series, but they're missing maybe a thing or two. Y'all good. You know, it's a mid team. They could make it to the postseason, probably wild card. But they're not really World Series favorites. Not terrible, but you know, a team that's like not really trash, but they're also just not good enough to make the playoffs at all. And last but not least, trash. The teams that are probably going to have some of the worst records that we've seen. But starting off with the Arizona Diamondbacks, I have the Arizona Diamondbacks at pretty fucking nice. They went under the radar with how good their offseason went this year. I mean, picking up Corbin Burns, great move. Yes, you lose Christian Walker, but then you trade for Josh Naylor, which is another good pickup in my opinion. They still have Ketel Marte in second base. Corbin Carroll fixing his swing up, and it looks like he's actually going to be pretty nice this year. You got Corbin Burns. You got Zach Allen. That's a good 1-2 punch. And overall, I just feel like Diamondbacks are very underrated this year. I got them at pretty fucking nice. Atlanta Braves, as much as it hurts my heart, they're going into World Series contenders. I mean, how could you not? Starting off with the rotation, you got Chris Sale, who literally just won the Cy Young. Schwellenbach, who is a up-and-coming fucking phenom, apparently, because he wanted to be carving up the fucking Mets last year. But regardless, you got Spencer Strider coming back from injury, probably mid-season. You got Ronald Acuna coming back as well. Jurickson Profar, one of the most underrated moves this offseason as well as a pickup. And you also got the woman beater himself, Marcell Ozuna. I mean, it's just an overall stacked team, and I fucking hate it so much. Matt Olson, Austin Riley, fucking Ozzy Albies, who always finds a way to just heartbreak the fucking Mets. This is just a fucking squad, honest to God, and they are World Series contenders. How could you not put them there? The Orioles are pretty fucking nice. I don't put them in World Series contenders just yet. I just feel like they did lose a little too much. I mean, you're losing Corbin Burns, Anthony Santander, and in return, you fucking sign Charlie Morton, who's 41. I don't know how I feel about that. And then the only other major pickup that they did was picking up Tyler O'Neill. But other than that, losing Santander, that's a 40 home run bomb bat that you're missing out on the lineup. The lineup is still good, though. The lineup is still good. You still got Mountcastle. You still got Henderson. You still got Adley Rutschman with the rotation that is not terrible. It's just missing Corbin Burns. It's, in my opinion, missing a solid ace. You're going to want to get a lot from Zach Eflin, who was pretty decent when they traded for him last year. So overall, not a terrible team. They're still pretty fucking nice. They're just, in my opinion, not full-blown World Series contenders. Next up, we got the Boston Red Sox, and this might surprise a lot of people. I got them at World Series contenders. This is actually a shock. I think they could even take their fucking division. And no, it's not because I'm a biased Mets fan and I hate the Yankees. It's because I actually think they're really good. First of all, you guys trade for Garrett Crochet, sign Alex Bregman. The lineup is looking elite with Bregman, who's going to rake in Fenway, Tristan Casas, Rafael Devers, Trevor Story coming back from injury. And if he could be even half of how good he is, it's going to be pretty scary. Jalen Duran as well. Masataka Yoshida, a squad. In my opinion, it's a squad. You forget forget that they also pick up Walker Buehler, who was amazing in the World Series. I just really like this Boston Red Sox squad, man. It's scary. So that's why I got them in the World Series contenders. In my opinion, they're really fucking good. Chicago Cubs, I'll put in y'all good. This is a team that traded for Kyle Tucker. Honestly, a very, very good addition to this lineup. You still got Pete Crow Armstrong. You still got Dansby Swanson. You traded Christopher Morale. But who cares? Who cares? This is a really good team. I don't think they are pretty fucking nice. I do like their rotation, though, with Imanaga leading the front. Ryan Presley as well is another good pickup for the back end of that bullpen. But I just don't think they're good enough to even warrant any of the teams that are in pretty fucking nice or in World Series. I think they're just good at best. Easily could be a wild card team, but not good enough, in my opinion. The Chicago White Sox is going into trash. I'm sorry. I don't even want to look up the roster. I don't even want to look at the names. I mean, you guys did good. Traded Garrett Crochet. Y'all needed to do that because, I mean, what, worst record last year in MLB history? I don't think it's going to be a repeat, but it's definitely going to be very, very low. Could easily reach another 100-loss season. I don't see that team going anywhere, which sucks because the downfall of that team when they were literally in the playoffs back in 2021, which is only 4 years ago. Trade Luis Robert, please. You guys need all the prospects that you could get, and that would be a big, big piece to get rid of on the team. The Cincinnati Reds are not terrible, but yeah, I don't think the Cincinnati Reds are that great. I don't see them going anywhere far, and I don't see them cracking a wild card spot. Their best player is Ellie De La Cruz. You got Candelario back in third. Gavin Lux is a good pickup for second base, I guess. But losing Jonathan India, I don't know. I like Jonathan India a little bit more than Gavin Lux, in my opinion. Spencer Steer, I just see the names on this team, and in my opinion, there's just nothing special about them. Even the rotation is mid at best. Hunter Green, Nick Lodolo. I like the Brady Singer pickup, but that's really about it. Overall, it's just a mid team at best, and they're not terrible. But the Cleveland Guardians, y'all good. Cleveland Guardians are one of those teams that are just somehow surprise everybody throughout the year. They end up being good all of a sudden, or just start the season off strong. I still have Cleveland making the playoffs, though. Overall, they have a good squad. I feel like it's a little bit of an underrated squad. You still got J Ram at third, Lane Thomas on the outfield, Steven Kwan, who's a contact machine. I really, really like him. Yes, you lose Josh Naylor, but getting Carlos Santana is a under-the-radar pickup, in my opinion, as well. Even though he's 38, I still feel like he could rake and progressive. And the back-end 1-2 punch in the bullpen of Paul Sewald and Emmanuel Clase, love it. I'm a Mets guy, but I do think Clase is just a little bit better than Diaz. Kill me, who cares? But I just don't see them better than anything in pretty fucking nice. They're staying right there, and y'all good. Next up, we got the Colorado Rockies, and I'm just throwing them in trash as well. I'm just not impressed with this squad at all. You look at the starting rotation, there's a bunch of no-names in my opinion. I mean, Herman Marquez has some promise, but I'm not a big fan of him, to be honest. Ryan McMahon at third base. Michael Tagalia. Ezekiel Tovar is the only bright spot they got, as he's young and up and coming. Charlie Blackmon, who retired this year, so he's not even going to play. And Chris Bryant, who's literally a shell of himself. Yeah, I mean, Brenton Doyle. I don't know, man. This team, I don't even know what they should do, honestly. Like, get some prospects. Hopefully, Tovar could amount to something, and put some money in this fucking team if you really want to win, Colorado. Come on. Next up, we got the Detroit Tigers, and the Detroit Tigers are good. Not for pretty fucking nice, but they're good. They got Tariq Skubal, who's the best pitcher in the AL. Spencer Torkelson, Riley Green, Kerry Carpenter, Matt Verling in center field. Javi Baez, who's, yes, is a bunch of swing and miss. Has a lot of funny clips on how he cannot hit for his life, but when he does, he fucking rakes. You look at the Detroit team, and it looks like it's a bunch of no names, but it works. I don't know. I don't know what it is. They're good. They're a good team. Next up, we got the Houston Astros, and they're going into pretty fucking nice. You lose Kyle Tucker, you lose Alex Bregman, and who do you get back? Isaac Paredes and Christian Walker. Not as good, but it's still good enough for them to be a contender, in my opinion. You still got Framber Valdez on the starting rotation, who's pretty nice. You got Hunter Brown as well, who I personally like. Ronel Blanco. Isaac Paredes, although not as good as Alex Bregman, is still a good power bat. Christian Walker, I really like in first base. You still got Jordan Alvarez. You still got Jose Altuve as a cheater, but let's see how he does in left field. Overall, I still feel like this is a decent team, a team that can make the playoffs and can make a run to the World Series. I just don't see them being a World Series contender. I do feel like they kind of took a step back from last year, but who knows? They could probably surprise people. It's the fucking Houston Astros. Next up, we got the Kansas City Royals, and I got y'all at y'all good. One of the moves that I really liked that the Royals did was definitely adding Jonathan India in second base. I thought that was a great trade for them. Me personally, I just like India as a player. But then you also got the best shortstop in the league in Bobby Witt Jr., at least in the AL. Yes, I'm a Lindor fucking fan, but I can't deny it, bro. Witt Jr. is just fucking nasty as fuck. You have Salvador Perez, who literally never ages. I don't know how that man is still hitting so well at 34. And then I just like the rotation. Seth Lugo is really good. Cole Reagans, Michael Wacha. Overall, it's just a solid team. I don't think they have enough to get to pretty fucking nice, in my opinion, but they're definitely really good. Next up, we got the Los Angeles Angels, and the Angels are not terrible, but they got Kenley Jansen to close out games. Yusei Kikuchi for the starting rotation, along with signing Jorge Soler to help out with the power in the lineup, Travis d'Arnaud. The Angels did something, in my opinion, that is really hard to do in the offseason. They made a lot of moves, but to me, it's just a whole lot of nothing. I don't know, man. I have no faith in the Angels every single year. Mike Trout is literally wasting his fucking career in this team. I swear to God. Hopefully he comes back with a full healthy season, because I feel like everybody's rooting for Mike Trout, but it's just one of those organizations that don't know what the fuck to do, and they're still paying Anthony Rendon a shit ton of money, and so they're not gonna be anywhere near in a y'all good situation. They're not terrible, but not that great either. Next up, we got the Dodgers, and honestly, should I even speak more? They're a World Series contender. They're the big bad Dodgers, and they went fucking crazy this offseason too. You got Sasaki, you got Tanner Scott, you re-signed Teoscar Hernandez, you got Shohei Ohtani coming back again, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, you got fucking Tommy Edman coming out of nowhere after the World Series being a fucking G, Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, probably one of the best rotations in the NL. Dodgers are immediately one of the World Series favorites. I'm hoping that the Mets match up with them again in the playoffs, and we really put it to them. Next up, we got the Miami Marlins, and they're trash, man. You know, they did what they could really do, trading their last couple pieces. They do have to trade off Sandy Alcantara. I don't know what the Miami Marlins are really doing. They just have to wait until they could actually rebuild. They're not going anywhere. Another one where I don't even feel like pulling up the fucking roster. They're just as bad as the White Sox. They might even have a worse record than the White Sox, honestly, when it's all said and done. But Miami's going nowhere this year. They're pretty fucking bad. The Milwaukee Brewers, I'll put them in y'all good. The Brewers are always a good team for some apparent reason. They have a decent rotation. Freddie Peralta, adding Jose Quintana, who I still think got some in the tank, just based off of how good he was for the Mets last year in the back end. In the beginning, he wasn't that good. They trade for Nestor Cortez. Let's see how he does in the starting rotation there. They still got William Contreras, who's a top 10 catcher, in my opinion, probably in the league. Jackson Chourio, who is like a phenom coming up. He's really fucking good, and he was really good this spring as well. Overall, they're always just a good team in general. Losing Willy Adames, I feel like is gonna hurt them just a little bit, but they're always good, man. They have a good coaching staff. The Brewers are just always set up for success in a weak Central, so I still got them possibly making the playoffs. Maybe not really, maybe just missing it. Overall, I still got them in y'all good though. The Minnesota Twins, I'm sorry, I'm very low on the Minnesota Twins this year. Not terrible, but the Twins is a team that could be so much better. They added Ty France at first base to cover Carlos Santana, which in my opinion, I don't think Ty France is as good as Santana. You still got Carlos Correa. You got Byron Buxton. You added Harrison Bader for the defense in the team out in center field, but
they're always bit by the injury bug. Losing Roy Lewis again in the beginning of the year is just a dagger. Pablo Lopez in the starting rotation is always a good sign, but then you just got a bunch of other starting pitchers that in my opinion aren't as good. Overall, it's just a mid team compared to a lot of other teams in the Central. I still have the Royals way over them. I still have Detroit way over them. This is just a team that, in my opinion, I just don't think they're going to go anywhere far. Next up, we got my New York Mets, and this ain't no bias, baby. It's a World Series team. My New York Mets. Let's just start off by saying, if you don't watch the team for a long period of time, you probably think the pitching is not enough. I'm here to tell you guys, I have the utmost faith in this team. This is one of the best rosters I think we've put out, and it's probably going to bite me in the ass for saying this out loud and putting it on YouTube, but I genuinely believe that this year is a year that we could make the World Series and probably win it all if we're able to get over the Dodgers. I felt that way last year, and I feel like if we would have beat the Dodgers last year, we would have easily got rid of the fucking Yankees. Easy ass team to beat in my opinion last year. You got Mark Vientos, who is coming back from a killer year. You have Lindor, who's literally an MVP on this fucking team. You sign Juan fucking Soto. You still keep Pete Alonso. You have Francisco Alvarez, who, yes, is injured right now, but Luis Torrens is no fucking slouch. He is also pretty good. Alvarez coming back after the first month or so in the year is going to be great. Brandon Nimmo working on his power even more. Hopefully we could get 25 home runs out of him. Jose Siri coming for the defense in the middle. Jesse Winker is back. The rotation, yes, we have Clay Holmes, but y'all seen what he's done in spring this year, and yes, it's spring training. Who gives a fuck? He is amazing so far from what I've seen. You sign AJ Minter for the bullpen. You have David Peterson, who's nasty. Kodai Senga, who's coming back from injury as well, and he's looking pretty good. Sean Manaea and Frankie Montas, yes, they're injured and down, but you know Manaea is going to come back and bounce back. He is killer for this team. Griffin Canning this spring as well was really, really fucking good. The offense on this team, even with Brett Beatty, I'm missing Brett Beatty. My mind is all over the place. Brett Beatty looks insane this spring. I'm hoping that he's able to transition this over to the regular season. Acuna's little brother is our utility option. I mean, I cannot emphasize enough how good this team is. Book us for the World Series. If we beat the Dodgers, I'm going all the way. I'm putting a fucking rack on it. Let's do it. I know I sounded hella delusional right there. Now we got the New York Yankees. Listen, I hate the Yankees, but I am not a hater. Y'all good, though. Y'all good. No, not pretty fucking nice. So here's my thing with the Yankees, okay? They're still going to be the second best team in their division, in my opinion. They still could win the division if the Boston Red Sox don't do what they could really do with the squad that they have. But the issue with the Yankees is something that is also riddling a lot of other teams, and it's injuries. Losing Garrett Cole for the entire year due to Tommy John is awful. You don't have Stanton starting the year, and it looks like he's always dealing with some type of fucking injury throughout the entire year. You do sign Max Fried to pivot from Juan Soto. You add in Cody Bellinger, who I think is going to be really, really good for the Yankees this year, in my opinion. Anybody who's doing fantasy, add Bellinger on your team. I think he's going to rake in Yankee Stadium. Goldschmidt, I'm not too high on, and there's still a problem on who's going to really play third base, or you guys are going to kind of sub in Oswald Peraza, but LeMahieu's still a problem. I'm not really sold on Volpe. I'm not big on Volpe. Jason Dominguez, I am high on, though. I think that you could see a lot of power out of him, but you're unsure about his defense. I still think this is a good team. I still think this is a team that could make the World Series because the AL is weak, but I just don't see them to be a pretty fucking nice team. This is not a Yankee team that I'm scared of. This is not a team that the Yankees usually carry, and I'm like, wow, that is a good roster 1 through 9. Sorry, I have to be honest. Devin Williams is a great pickup, though, to close out games for you guys, with Luke Weaver as well. I think the strongest suit of this team is the bullpen. However, everything else, in my opinion, is mid. And Carlos Carrasco used to be on the Mets. He's not that good, guys. I'm sorry to say. And Stroman isn't either. He's a bum. Next up, we got the Athletics. Not Oakland anymore. So I'm not going to say Oakland Athletics. And I actually think they are high, not terrible. This is not really in order. They're more in their sections. But I will say the Athletics are actually good this year, I believe. Looking at the team here, you look at them and it doesn't look like they added much.
but I do love the addition of Severino. He was really good for the Mets beforehand, and I think he's going to be really good with them now. You got Gio Urshela in third base, which I think is a really good pickup, especially for the defense there. I think Brent Rooker is going to have a crazy offensive season this year. I'm really high on Brent Rooker. You still got Mason Miller. You got TJ McFarland, who's really nice as well in the bullpen. I feel like he's going to have a good year. Shea Langoliers, Lawrence Butler. I just feel like these are all guys who are going to take a step up this year. I don't think this is a bad team by any means. Don't look out for the Athletics, man. I think they could do something. They could do something. They could make noise. They're not going to the World Series or anything. They could make noise. Next up, we got the Philadelphia Phillies, and I got Phillies in pretty fucking nice. Looking at the Phillies, I love their starting rotation. Let's just start right there. I think they have one of the best rotations when it comes to not only my division, but also just in the MLB in general, especially adding Jesus Luzardo. You still got Zach Wheeler. You still got Aaron Nola. I like Ranger Suarez. The infielders, you still have a pretty good lineup. Still got Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, who is definitely top 5 first baseman in the league. But then, I don't know, man. In my opinion, I'm not big on Alec Bohm at all. I think JT Realmuto is on the decline. Edmund Sosa is just eh. I like Nick Castellanos, but Brandon Marsh is just eh. Johan Rojas is just eh. I like Kyle Schwarber. And maybe this is just recency bias for the Mets smoking them in the NLDS, but I don't know, man. In my opinion, I just don't see this team as a World Series team once they get to the playoffs, because I still think they'll make the playoffs. Don't get me wrong. I do think that the Mets, Atlanta, and the Phillies will all make the playoffs this year. But once they make it to the playoffs, I feel like they're just going to choke again. They're not going to be good. And hey, man, I'm sorry if you're from Philly, but that's just how I feel. And looking at this team, not really scared of it at all. Next up, we got the Pirates, and the Pirates are not terrible, but so the Pirates are a funny case here. I mean, you have the best pitcher in baseball, hands down, in Paul Skeens. I mean, that guy is just fucking nasty. But then, I don't know. Their lineup is decent at best. Brian Reynolds. I mean, you add Tommy Pham. I do like Tommy Pham as an addition. Andrew McCutchen, will this be the year that he declines? Let's see. O'Neal Cruz, of course, is a tall ass motherfucker, and he could fucking hit the ball pretty hard. Key Brian Hayes, not a fully developed roster in my opinion. The rotation is okay. It's not amazing. I do like Mitch Keller. I do like Jared Jones as well. Overall, I feel like it's not a trash team, but it's definitely not anywhere in good category. Definitely a low tier when it comes to not terrible. So yeah, that's where I have them at, and that's where they're going to stay. The San Diego Padres are pretty fucking nice. The Padres are a weird case where I feel like they will always win their division if the Dodgers did not exist. I love their rotation. Michael King, Dylan Cease, Yu Darvish, Joe Musgrove. I think Musgrove is injured right now. I don't know. I'm not even fucking too sure. I don't follow the Padres like that. However, they also have a good lineup in my opinion. Luis Arias, who, yes, is just a singles hitter, as everybody says, but you always need somebody on base. Xander Bogaerts, Cronenworth, Manny Machado, Jackson Merrill, who's a fucking dog, in my opinion, and he's only 21. He's only getting better. Fernando Tatis Jr., elite player that people sleep on just because of the PEDs. So overall, I just feel like it is a good squad. This is always a team that I feel like just makes noise. I also really like the weird addition of Connor Joe, another player that I feel like is going to mesh very well in San Diego. Always a good team, but just don't see them cracking a World Series contention team when it compared to the other great teams in the league. But they could surprise people. Still got them at pretty fucking nice though. Next up, we got the San Francisco Giants. And maybe this is just an opinion that I only have, but they're in not terrible. But the Giants are a team that I feel like maybe I'm a little bit too low on. I do like Patrick Bailey. I like Willie Adames. I like Matt Chapman. Not big on Wilmer Flores. Love the addition of Jung Hoo Lee. But my issue with the Giants is just their rotation. I'm not a big Jordan Hicks guy. I don't think he's that good. Justin Verlander is on the decline, unfortunately. He's getting old. Logan Webb is a dog, though. I really do like him. But when I look at this team, I compare it to everybody else in the NL West. I don't see them going that far. I don't think they're that good of a team compared to the Padres or the Dodgers. And I don't know. I'm just not a team that I think
is that great. It's a not terrible, but next up we got the Seattle Mariners, and the Seattle Mariners are pretty fucking nice. The Mariners have one of the best rotations in Major League Baseball. You got George Kirby, you got Luis Castillo, you got Bryce Miller. You look at the power on the team, you look at the offense, and they are lacking a little bit. They are so good when it comes to pitching, in my opinion. But then when it comes to actually scoring runs, J.P. Crawford, Jorge Polanco, not really big on Jorge Polanco, Donovan Solano, Arozarena was a nice pickup last year, Mitch Garver as DH, Kyle Riley. Yeah, these are names that just don't do it for me, in my opinion. Their best player on the team, Julio Rodriguez, you were hoping to get a really, really strong year from him. He's only 24 years old, so he should be on the up and up. But I don't look at this team and get World Series contender. I just think they're so good because of their pitching. Logan Gilbert as well, and that's what has them in pretty fucking nice. Next up, we have the St. Louis Cardinals, and this might be a hot take, but they're trash this year. The Cardinals do not know what they're doing. I like portions of the rotation here in Sonny Gray, Steven Matz, Miles Mikolas, and to some extent, but then the rest of the team, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm not big on this squad at all. Nolan Arenado has been on the decline just a tad. He's still going to be really good this year. You're always going to have great defense from him. I do like the rookie Mason Wynn, so he's not that bad. Wilson Contreras is always good. But then the rest of the team, I'm not really big on. Maybe it's because I think they're the worst team in the NL Central, but I just don't see them going anywhere and anywhere fast. They have to make a move. They have to figure out what they want to do as an organization. I don't see them better than the Cubs. I don't see them better than the Brewers. I don't see them better than the Reds. Yeah, overall, I'm just really low on the Cardinals this year. I don't think they're going to be that good. Next up, we got Tampa Bay, and I got Tampa Bay in trash as well. Tampa Bay always finds a way to be good every year, or at least have somewhat of a positive record. So maybe I'm a little too harsh on them. You got Caminero, you got Yandy Diaz, Hassan Kim is pretty good, but you have to wait until he comes back from injury. I like the Christopher Morel pickup, but I look at this team and I feel like it's worse than last year's team. I don't look at this team and see them being a winning team or a winning roster. I actually feel like they might have the worst record in the AL East. Maybe I just don't follow the Rays as much, but I just don't look at this team and say, yeah, they're going to win something. I don't see them going anywhere. Same thing with the Cardinals. I just feel like they're good teams compared to other trash teams. They're just in the scheme of the MLB. I feel like they're trash. I don't think they're as bad as these three teams here, but the Cardinals and the Tampa Bay Rays are the teams that I feel like are in a decline at this point in time. Next up, we got the Texas Rangers. I got them as World Series contenders. The Texas Rangers are going to be good this year, guys. I think they're going to have a crazy bounce back season. They added Patrick Corbin in their starting rotation. They're going to get DeGrom back, who I love DeGrom, biased Mets fan, but he's one of the best pitchers when healthy of all time. Ivadali is nasty. I love him. Then you look at their lineup and you got Corey Seager coming back from injury. I think he's going to rake. Marcus Semien is still really fucking good. You added Jake Berger as a power bat, Jonah Heim, Adolis Garcia, and adding Jock Peterson as well as DH. I mean, this is just a team. I feel like they're just so well-rounded. They're just such a well-rounded team, in my opinion, where I just feel like they don't have that much of a weakness. I feel like they're going to be coming back with a vengeance for being not that good last year, but winning the World Series in 2023. And I feel like they are well equipped to win a World Series. They are more equally balanced compared to a lot of the teams in Pretty Fucking Nice who have strong suits in one side, but I feel like are not equal to the teams that I have in that World Series section. Texas Rangers, book it. I think they're going to make the playoffs. They might even take their division. Next up, we got the Blue Jays, and I got the Blue Jays. This one is tough, man. This one is tough because is Bo Bichette going to come back and be way better than what he was last year? What are you going to get out of Vladdy? Are they going to be good? If they're good, then they're going to keep everybody. Or if they're bad, are they going to trade Vladdy and they're going to be trashed the rest of the season? Ah, man. I'm going to put them at not terrible, but they have the potential to be good. Looking at this team, I do like some pieces from the rotation. I like Jose Barrios. I like Kevin Gausman. Chris Bassett is also good. I like the addition of Jeff Hoffman in the bullpen. But again, it's all up to how Bo Bichette does. I love the addition of Anthony Santander, who if he gives you another 40 bombs, this could be a really, really good team. But I just don't see them as good as any other team other than the Rays in the American League East. I think the Yankees are better. I think the Boston Red Sox are better. I think the Orioles are better. But that's about it. I think they're going to be 4th place in their division. And I think if all goes to shit, they're just going to sell. I do not like the addition of Max Scherzer. I think he is cooked. Biased Mets fan again. I'm sorry. I just feel like he gave his last good year with us. So yeah, I don't know, man. I think best bet is that you guys trade Guerrero Jr., get some pieces for him, and revisit next year, because I don't think this is a good enough team to win a World Series this year. And last but not least, we have the Washington Nationals, and I have them at not terrible, but the Nationals are a team that are up and coming. They have some young pieces like CJ Abrams, James Wood as well, who's pretty nice. I do like his game. You have Ahmed Rosario. The addition of Nathan Lowe in first base is not that bad. But looking at this team, it's just not one of those good teams. Maybe it's because the Mets always carve up the Nationals, but I just don't think their starting pitching is that good. Mackenzie Gore is not that nice to me. Jake Irvin is okay at best. I like Trevor Williams. But again, Mets bias. Not a team that I could see going far anywhere, but they aren't terrible. They do have some positives when it comes to future with this team. But this is the list here. Any of the teams from pretty fucking nice and up, I have possibly taken the World Series entirely, but anywhere from y'all good and up, I could see you in the playoffs. This year is going to be amazing, honestly. If you disagree or if you agree with my opinions, leave it in the comments below. Give it a like, comment, sub if you have not, as we've just hit 50 subscribers, so I'm super happy about that and coming up on this channel. But I'd love to hear what you guys think. I always say that the list are facts, but this one is, I guess, fan-based. But anyway, guys, love y'all. Till the next one. Peace.